Hi there. I am a licensed clinical social worker, as many of you know, and I appreciate everyone's positive feedback, especially around the videos that I've done on internal family systems and dissociative issues. Today's video is about me and as a human, not as a therapist, but as a human that has done my own work and continue to do my own work. And even doing this video, it feels a little bit vulnerable, but that's okay. I encourage people to be vulnerable in my work, so I'm going to do the same thing. I'm on vacation right now, and I just wanted to tell you a little story about a really awesome experience that my husband Jim and I had, and also how something not so awesome happened, but through my knowledge of internal family systems and my own parts, I was able to be okay. And if I hadn't known about those things, I might not have been as okay as I really was. So here goes. My husband's bucket list, one of his things for his bucket list in his retirement is to go tarpon fishing and to catch a tarpon, not just go fishing, but to catch the tarpon. So we did that. We drove from upstate New York down to Florida and had many cool stops along the way, did many cool things. But the ultimate piece of it was to hire a guide in one of the Keys, and he took us out for half a day, an evening trip, and then a full day the following day in pretty shallow water. And great news, my husband did catch a tarpon. It's a beautiful, huge fish, just amazing. I'll throw in a picture of it at the end here. And I actually that first night hooked onto a humongous bull shark. And I'm a fisherwoman, been fishing my whole life, and I've never felt anything like this. You could just feel his head angrily going back and forth as he ran. Long story short, right next to the boat at the very end, he cut it off with his teeth, but it was still an amazing experience. The next day, we got up early, meet the same guy. His name's John. I'll say his real name. And that morning was really cool because he was very connected. He knew that I was a therapist. I'd said that because I was complimenting him the day before. Because when I got that huge shark on, I literally was like, not reasonable. I was panicking. I wasn't like hyperventilating, but I was like reeling like crazy because I didn't want to lose this thing. And he literally he called me by name. Cal, stop. And I was like, I don't want to lose it. I don't want to lose it. And he said, you're panicking. And that was like, okay. And I looked at him and he goes, and he showed me the technique. You lift up and then you reel. And you lift up and that helped so much. So after that whole experience, I was complimenting him on his amazing psychological skills and told him what I did for a living, which is a mental health therapist, helping people understand their nervous systems all the time. So the next morning, he was really cool and we joked, and he like said some self-deprecating things about his personality. All good. We go out, really beautiful morning. Saw dolphins and pelicans feeding, and we went and caught live bait, and the day before we'd seen some sea turtles spawning. Like, it was just incredible. Well, until it wasn't. And what happened was John was in the back, or he was in the front of the boat. My husband and I were fishing out of the back. And we had bait like this long, that live bait fish called mullet, this long, that they're swimming out there. So you're fishing to the bait, and when they start freaking out, you know there's something big that's going to hit them. All fish were catch and release, by the way. We didn't keep anything. It was all about the adventure and maybe taking some videos and pictures, but we let them all go. Anyway, he was in the front of the boat talking on the phone. And I could tell, we could hear everything he was saying. And there were some stressful things going on in his life. But anyway, I reeled in my bait because something hit it and I just wanted to check. And instead of being this long, it was only this big. Something had bit off most of the bait. And he wasn't having us bait our own hooks. So I came around to him and showed him this, even though he was on the phone. And he went from being cool to his tone, everything was just like, get that bait, quit dripping that bait all over my boat. I got to clean this thing. I don't need blood all over my boat. And it was like a whole shift. And mind you, the fish was not gushing blood at all. Maybe a little bit, not much, but something really triggered him. And it hurt my feelings. It literally hurt my feelings. But anyway, whatever. He baited my hook. But just seeing that shift in him did something to me. All of a sudden, in my mind, deep in, it was like, ooh, he can bite. He's not as safe as you thought. Around the same time I was casting myself, he wanted to do it. And I said, I know how to cast. Well, he got snappy with me. Behind me, he had some rods just up. Like no one was using them. They were like in a holder. So I was trying not to hook them. And he yelled at me about that. He was very shift change. That's all I can say. Like, don't worry about it. This is how you have to, like, mean kind of. And I tried to say, I'm trying to be careful not to hit your rods over here. And my voice was cracking. Like, I was literally almost crying. And my husband, he's looking at me and I'm looking at him like, what is going on? Well, the dust settled. I could not shake that feeling. I felt mad for one thing, and like I was trying to help him, but he was just kind of being mean to me. Guess what I figured out like really quick in this moment? Why am I having such a big reaction? Here we are having the time of our lives, and just because he snapped at me a few times, I'm feeling like I want to cry. I'm feeling like I want to run. I'm like shut down. Like it wasn't like I meant to shut down. My nervous system shut down. Bingo. I had an Exile get activated, and this is where IFS comes in so handy. And all the work I've done on myself, I knew there's little Callie. That's little me in there that had similar experiences. Guys do that. Sorry, but fathers do that sometimes. My dad used to do that to me. He'd take me fishing, best time on earth. I loved him so much, and he taught me, and he was so proud of me. But if I snagged something or made a mess of the reel, he acted a lot of times, not all the time, but just like this guy. Mean all of a sudden, snappy, frustrated. And then it helped me realize, well, that's a firefighter part, a manager part at best with the guy John and with my dad from the past. A manager that's just trying to get things done. Like, let's just get it right. Don't make a mess of my boat. Don't screw this up. Just listen to me. We'll get this done. Manager, firefighter at times. So firefighter would be real ragey. And this guy didn't do that. Processing it as I'm fishing, right? I'm still fishing, catching a few other sharks in the middle. That helped break that nervous system lockup where the Exile was like, and then I kicked into yay, grown up me, ventral vagal. I caught a 150-pound nurse shark right after all this happened. And then John was right there and he's helping, and it was great again. So I was able to flip back through situations and processing in my mind. I also could recognize from listening to his conversation, he was pissed off about things in his life right around the same time that I put the bait over his boat and he got mad. Perfect storm, maybe. It wasn't a deal breaker. It wasn't the end of the world, but it was upsetting enough in my nervous system that I was on the verge of tears and maybe did cry a little if I'm truly honest. This stuff catches up to us. It sneaks up on us, I mean to say. But it's so cool to recognize what's going on. my little part reacted to a different part of him that came out. If I hadn't realized that, I might not have, I could have internalized that. I might have made him all bad. I don't want to deal with this guy anymore. I'm done. I'm not engaging. I got over it quick. I hope this makes sense to you. I don't have DID, but I definitely have parts. We don't have to have a full-blown dissociative disorder to have different parts of us get activated, and they can wreak trouble with us if we don't have awareness and learn how to kind of ride those waves. During this time, I was also contemplating saying something to him in the moment. Like I would have said, listen, I know you're having a tough time in your own life, but we're paying you to do this, so get off the phone and don't yell at me like that. I opted not to, just because it didn't seem safe and it didn't seem worth it. If this was a person that I was going to have an ongoing relationship with, it would definitely be something to clean up and to work on. But in this case, it wasn't. So it's all good. I hope this helps shed some light on how internal family systems can be incorporated into day-to-day life. Thanks for watching.